Hi everyone, how are you today? Welcome to Phido International. So today, as always, we have something really exciting for you. And an idea that hit me, I just thought, I'm going to be saying to all of us, we're all winners. So why am I saying we're winners? Because we're winning every day. We're winning in life. We're winning in everything we're doing. And so that's going to be what I'll be saying to all of us going forward. And that includes me. Because I need to be reminded constantly that I am winning in life. But what are we going to be talking about today? So you know what we normally say that Phido International represents, let's start thinking. Last time we talked, we were saying what should be really what we should be saying to ourselves when we come on here. And then a new one came to me. Let's question everything. So the new slogan for us now is question everything. Why are we questioning everything? We want to question everything because it's going to help us develop. We actually need to question to empower our self-development. So the whole purpose of me coming here every day, whenever I do come, is that we should empower ourselves so we can develop properly. So we're empowering our self-development. But the only way we can achieve that is through questioning everything. And that's why you see that I read a lot. And that's why you see that there are books and endless books around me. Because if you don't question, you're never going to find answers to what the problems are. And unfortunately for us right now, there are problems everywhere. So I'm actually going to come to what today's title is about. And it's about the fact that lack of knowledge is the problem. Lack of knowledge is the problem. You know, you've heard things like knowledge is power, knowledge is wealth, knowledge is everything. Knowledge is what actually moves us forward. It's one of the things I talk about every time in our videos. The Bible says, seek knowledge with all thy might. It says, before anything else, gain knowledge. And then one of those ones that really got to me was, lack of knowledge is where the problem is. My people suffer for lack of knowledge. So this is why I chase knowledge. This is why I want to know. This is why I say to us now, question everything. Because if you don't question it, how are you ever going to know what should have been the right thing in the first place? So, Bible told us, to them that have, more will be given unto them. This is where it's so important for us to pick something out of today. Lack of knowledge is the problem, but a message is coming to us again from the Bible, because one of the best things I have learned working with the Bible is the fact that it is the greatest personal development book there is. Yes, the Bible is the greatest personal development book there is. And you're going to see people tend to look at the Bible as, oh my gosh, there's a lot of spirit behind it. And so once I hold the Bible, I'm going to fall down and I'm going to jump up and I'm going to speak in tongues and all of that's going to happen. That's not what I want you to take on. Because we need to remind ourselves, remember, question everything. We need to understand how the Bible came about. I know those of us Christians, we get so engaged with knowing, is this in the Bible, before we allow ourselves to think? We really need to ask ourselves a lot of questions. Did God come down Did God really come down to write the Bible with his own hands? Or was the Bible written by human beings? These are some of the questions I've asked. And the same goes for every religion. Human beings were inspired by God to write these things. God speaks to us to do things. And that's why now I'm here chatting with you. The things I talk about, sometimes I don't know where they come from. And that's why I know that there's a higher being out there, being God, speaking through all of us to do the things we do. So when we look at Bible, written by so many people, and that's when you hear the book according to St. James, Matthew, Luke, and it goes on and on. And the good thing with this particular Bible that I have is it actually tells you who wrote each book. Like when you look at Proverbs, you look at Psalms, it tells you who wrote it in what year, and you get to know all of these things. So when you go into personal development, remember we're saying empower your self-development. When you look at yourself and you want to become stronger and better, you look at your personal development. Then you start wondering, how do you get to the point where your knowledge becomes better? And that's what happened here. These people's knowledge were empowered and enhanced by God speaking to them. Talking to different people to write different chapters and different books. I'll give you a little example. This is Genesis. And this particular Bible that I have explains to us who wrote this. It says author Moses. Date written between 1450 and 1400 BC. Time span chapters 1 to 11. Record the first years of man's history from the creation to the Tower of Babel. And so it breaks it down to who did what, when it was done, what time frame. And this is how, if you are really curious about questioning everything, you're going to find that various chapters in the Bible and books written by different people were written by this person and written by that person. And I've heard of so many books that were also omitted from getting into the Bible. And over the years, so many books have been pulled out as well. So this gives you a very clear knowledge that this book is written by so many people, inspired by God. The same way you are inspired by God to become a bigger, better person, to develop as a better person. But you see, this is one thing you really must do with the Bible. You have to start thinking, how can I use the knowledge that the Bible gives me to develop better, to become a stronger whole, and not allow it to become what people have made us believe over the years, that the minute you touch the Bible, you're going to faint. People do that. The minute they touch the Bible, they're thinking, oh my gosh, a spirit has taken me over. There's so many spirits in here if we are looking at human beings as spirits. But you see, the best part of the Bible is the knowledge it gives you to help you become stronger and better and bigger. And that's one of the things we're talking about today. Whereas a lack of knowledge is the problem. Not knowing what you're dealing with is where our problem has always been as a people. And they are really focused more on religion. Because religion generally has held Africans back, if I take us back into the African mode. Why? I've seen many articles where people say, some countries, Nigeria for instance, export religion to a country like South Africa. I mean, most part of Africa, that's what we do, Nigerians, exporting religion as our staple industry, while other countries are sending different things to us. Industrialization, mechanization, knowledge. We will go and buy all these things from these various places, and the only thing we want to concentrate our mind on is reading the Bible and going to preach it. We are part of God. And God talks to all of us in various forms. Just like he spoke to all the various people that contributed to writing the Bible at the time. But see, the bigger message I want all of us to take out of this is, this book gives us so much power. Power in the sense of personal development. Power in the sense of self-development. Power in the sense of use it rightly. Because when you use it wrongly, it holds you down. Remember, so many people wrote it. Different time frames. So what that person was going through at that point in time may not be what you are going through at this point in time. But what do? You misunderstand the message the person was trying to give to you, and you use that as holy grail. And then that holds you down. There's so many places, so many chapters in the Bible that I can say to you now that is what is causing the problem, especially in Africa. But I'm going to pick one in today's talk. And this is the area where the Bible said to us, to them that have, more will be added unto them. And to them that have not, the little they have will be taken away from them. That gave me food for thought. That made me think. But you see, another great thing about the Bible is, when these passages are written and you read it, most times you don't get the meaning. I mean, I've had so many people say, I try my best to read the Bible, but I don't understand it. Yes. You don't understand it because the spirit behind your state of mind at that point in time is not absorbing this knowledge. And this is what happens to most of us most of the time. And this includes even when we go to university, when we're in school. A teacher is teaching us something, but our state of mind at that point in time is not absorbing that information the way it is meant to be given to us. And I experience that most times as well. I may read a book several times before that message becomes clear to my thinking. So most people may read this passage in the Bible, to them that have, more will be given to them, and to them that do not have, even the little they have will be taken away from them. Lots of people have queried this passage, and you know what? People then start to say, but it's not fair. Life is not fair. I mean, look at us in Africa, we're struggling. And yet, people who are so rich still come to Africa and take everything we have from us. Why is that the case? And you know, most times when things happen really horribly to some of us, to say you lose a loved one, I see that most times on Facebook. But God, why? Why have you taken this person from me now? And then, you know, when there are wars as well, then people question, if there is God, why is he allowing war to happen? These are the questions we ask all the time when things don't happen our way. We get angry, and then we get angry at God. Why are you allowing this to happen? And then you hear the people who say, but I don't believe in God because he's not even looking at my situation. What is happening to me? If there was God, he would not have allowed that to happen. This is where I want you to take this passage very seriously. This passage shocked me when I understood it. And the big message that came out of it was, lack of knowledge is the problem. This is why the same Bible told us over and over, the very first thing we should seek is knowledge. Why? Because when we have knowledge, we have everything. And this is why, to them that have, more will be added unto them. Let me break this down now. So, this is something I've been chasing recently. I've become so obsessed with trying to understand what's going on in the world. Why is that the case? We had this issue recently, you know, with the pandemic and the lockdown. And then we have the George Floyd being killed, and the racism going on across the world, and I started questioning myself, what is going on? How did all of this come about? And then slowly the message started coming down. That's what I'm saying, question everything. Because if you don't question, and some of the things I read as well is the type of question you throw out there, the answers will come to you based on your question. So if you question things wrongly, you get a wrong answer. But if you question things rightly, the answers will come to you just the way you're questioning it. So I was curious. I want to know why there's so much pain out there in the sense of the haves and the have-nots. And we got to know eventually when this lockdown was happening and all the pandemic that the bigger war out there was about those who have and those who don't have. I mean, there's a movie I enjoy watching, Thanos, can't remember the title of the End Game, and before End Game came and all of that. And this man, with all the power he had, he was just going around the world and just halving the population. So he will kill half and leave half. And that touched me. And so when this whole pandemic thing started happening, and I'm reading what you hear as conspiracy theorists, and they are breaking down what's actually going on, and they're saying these people who have just want to, they call it the depopulation and the new world order, all these things going on, and I'm thinking, but why is all this happening? So I became more and more curious. And then, for me, whenever I'm curious, what I do is seek knowledge. Whenever I'm curious, I seek knowledge. Hence, I say to you, ask questions. Because if you don't ask questions, you're not going to get answers. And so the more questions I was asking, the more I was getting closer and closer to answers. And so, especially with racism, I became curious. I wanted to know, where did civilization start from? And then you read all these things that it all started from Africa. And then the question becomes, so how did Africa lose it? How did we get to the point now where we are the ones depending on the rest of the world for survival? So then I started buying all these books. So I went into European history. Then I'm going away. Before European history, what was it? So I'm going backwards and backwards and backwards. And that's how you seek knowledge. So I started asking all these questions, and I realized that so much took place. So much happened. But then it now brought out a very clear fact to me. To them that have, more will be given unto them. And to them that have not, even the little they have will be taken away from them. That is a huge shock revelation. It's a shocking revelation. Because, today I saw a very interesting post in Facebook where this is something I'd already said, that if we want to change this inequality issue, this racism issue, this superiority and inferiority issue, we have to take it back to Africa. For as long as Africa is so underdeveloped, for as long as Africa is so in a dire state of need and support and guidance and you name it, everyone comes to give Africa instruction. For as long as that is going on, black people will not be respected across the world. That's my take. That's the way I see it. So if we're looking for equality, if we're looking to become like the rest of the world, we need to stand up like the rest of the world. We need to stop begging them for everything. And there's a saying in Africa or in Nigeria that when a young child washes his hands well, he can eat with elders. That was shocking. Because for as long as Africa is still out there desperate and begging and looking so unsure, how do you expect the rest of the world to say, come, I'll hold you along? Because there's something, out here in UK, this, when they garage music or all kinds of music you come across and they go, oh, you have to big up yourself, big up yourself. If you don't big yourself up, no one's going to big you up. And that's what it is. If you don't stand up No one's going to hold your hands and come, let me help you stand up. That is not happening. It's not going to happen. And that's why lots of people sit out there and they're crying, but it's not fair, it's not fair. Where is the fairness going to come from? The truth is, everybody's trying to struggle for their own way in life. Everybody's looking for how they can become this superpower. And we've talked about this. People like, President of United States goes to meet North Korea leader and shakes hand with it. Age-wise, they are not age mates in any form. But technology-wise, oh yeah, we're mates, so we can shake hands. And then if that one says anything, the other one gets so upset. Now imagine if the president of Nigeria says anything about president of US. It would be like, what was that? It would be like a sneeze. It would not matter. No one would take him seriously because he doesn't count. This is what African leaders haven't come to realize. We're still so lost that we're busy exporting everything we own to the rest of the world. They will come and they will give you whatever kickback or backhand or whatever bribery you want to call it. And then they'll tell them, I'll come to your country and I'll take all of this. And they're happily handing it over. And they forget that the human beings in that country are the assets that they have. Because if we are to develop as a continent, as a country, as a community, we need to develop ourselves. We need to grow. We need to start looking at knowledge. And I took my time, just like I've shown in one of the videos where China started developing and they were given a time frame to when they were developing. China now can stand up with the rest of the world and say, we are here. And they're going around the world developing, taking over from everybody again, just the same way the rest of the Western world did. So what message do you get there? The message is knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, you do not count. That's the big message today. If you do not have knowledge, you do not count. And this is why it is so important that we all seek knowledge. If you are part of this channel, my biggest dream for you is, if there's anything you're learning from me, is to start seeking knowledge. The only people who survive are people who have knowledge. And that's why the Bible told us clearly, to them that have, more will be given unto them. The bigger message there is, you see, the civilized world, they have knowledge. They're taking their time to seek knowledge. Britain went into industrialization, I think scientific research and findings and all of that, 18th century. Now, look into history again. Britain was a really small country at that time. But Britain, with the power of knowledge that they had, they went around the world, colonizing everybody they could, including America. And then it became a battle between them and the rest of Europe. France was going off the other end, colonizing the ones they could. Portugal was going up the other end, colonizing the ones they could. And Britain was going to colonize. Why were they able to do that? Because they had power. They had knowledge. That's what the Bible is saying. To them that have, more will be given unto them. Because they had knowledge, they were able to acquire from the people who did not have knowledge. Do you see how it all connects? For them that don't have, even the little they have will be taken away from them. That explains our situation in Africa. The little we have, most times they go, oh, but how come these rich countries are still coming to Africa to go and collect what Africa has? They are so rich. Where are they coming? That's what it is. Bible told us. The little you have will be taken away from you. Why? Because you lack knowledge. Lack of knowledge is the problem. And so this message goes all the way down to our individual homes. To our individual homes. You see, a home that has knowledge continues to thrive because it's using the knowledge it has to go and achieve things out there. A community that has knowledge continues to thrive because it's using its knowledge to go and achieve more. A country that has knowledge grows because it's using its knowledge to get from those who don't have. And the Bible told us that. Do you now see why it is the most amazing personal self-development book there is? Because if you allow yourself to listen and reason and understand the messages it's bringing on to us, we will grow from it. I mean, like I said to people, it's a living book. The Bible is not ancient, and yet it's been there for centuries. It's a living book because it tells you what's going to happen right now to you. If you don't have knowledge, people who have knowledge will come and take you over. That's the message. And that's why, you see, even in business, people who have knowledge, they have access to where products come from. They go and buy the product and they sell it to you at a profit. Of course. Why? Because they have access to knowledge. So this is one of those times where we need to wake up and learn. This is not one of those times, I mean, seriously, like I said, a day will come when I will really look at what's going on in Africa and religion. We're doing religion upside down. Because when this whole pandemic happened and, lockdown and everything, I started querying, are we even imagining that these people who are undoing the rest of us, they don't believe in God? Of course they believe in God. But with statements like this, what do you think is going on? Bible telling them that, for you who have knowledge, you can go and take knowledge. You can go and take over from people who don't have any knowledge. And that is fine. But you see people who start saying, oh, they're going to go to hell. And the question I ask is, how do we know where hell is? Because for these people, all they want to know is right now that they are still feeling, all they know is they are having what they want right now. Yes, everybody's going to go eventually, but as now that they can feel, they are getting what they want, and that's all that counts. And if that means taking everything from you, they don't care. Because well enough, these are the same people that brought this Bible to us. And I read somewhere in one of those messages where somebody said, the way we see these Westerners, Western world, the way they feel about Africans, I mean, left with them, they don't think Africans count at all. Do you really believe in your heart of hearts that they would have brought you Bible knowing that, oh, when you die, you're going to heaven, and then both of you will end up in the same place? No. Because they knew they needed this book to control our mindset. That's why they brought it to us. They didn't bring it to us that would be smart enough to work with the Bible and make sense of our life. They brought it to us that we will only pick on the parts that suit them. And I was hearing things like, I watch most of these programs on slavery. Go on YouTube, they're all there. And one of the ones I watched was so touching. Their masters are telling the slaves that they should obey their masters because the Bible says so. Can you imagine that? Or if you don't obey your master, you go to hell. But meanwhile, this same master is killing them, is flogging them, is cutting their limbs, raping their wives, and is telling you, if you don't obey me, you go to hell. Now, question this. Where is the fairness in that? this same person believes in the Bible and is telling you you go to hell, but he's the one committing all the atrocities. Because some of the questions I asked were, Bible said, love your neighbor as yourself. Did these people love the Africans that they took over as slaves? No, they didn't. And they committed all of the 10 commandments that Moses gave. They never listened to one. Do not steal. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not covet your neighbor's wife. Blah. And all these things were just going on and on in the Bible. But these same people were doing everything that the Bible said do not do. And you want to sit down and say, oh no, let me sit down and wait until God comes down. We got it wrong. We definitely got it wrong. So this is where we need to wake up. And this is where we need to start looking into the same Bible that they gave to us and understand it from a personal development point of view, a self-development point of view. Work with the Bible to work with you. Bible has told us, if you don't have knowledge, people who have knowledge will take what you have away from you. What message do you get from that? You have to go and gain knowledge. That's the answer. That's a simple answer. That's why I said question everything. You have to go and gain knowledge. I got this book, The Knowledge Revolution. And it's shocking the amount of information that's in this book. What's in it? It's about the British government or Britain. At that time, they were having issues with their citizens all emigrating to the US. And that concerned them so much. Why? Because they realized, which is true, I've shown it here over and over, the most important thing about human resource. And this man talks about, in the sense of, it's called brain drain. The amount of knowledge in us. A total of us with so much knowledge will lift that community. A total of us with so much knowledge will lift our country. Now, this time in British history, the British citizens who had so much knowledge were emigrating out of the country. That concerned the government so much because that meant the government is going to have to start all over again to start retraining the new set of people who will bring knowledge and power to the country. And so he started questioning it. Now look at Africa. Every one of us who have knowledge, we can't wait to run away. We are filling up a ship. Every day you hear migrant ship on the Mediterranean, and then it's going to capsize. Imagine all of that. Capsizing, all those brains gone. And then when you look back home, I know about my village, everybody who had any knowledge, any brain, is being killed off. Yeah, because the way African leaders most times think, they see everyone as competition. They see everyone as an enemy. Anyone that has the knowledge, anyone that questions is a problem. Kill him off, kill him off, kill him off. And so everyone that's got knowledge has left the continent, has left the country, has left the community. So what then happens? We're left with people without knowledge. What does the Bible say about that? My people suffer for lack of knowledge. What does the Bible say again? To them that have knowledge, more will be given to them. So what's happening is, all of us living our continent, we've exported all our knowledge out of the continent. Continent now has nothing. And so, is it a wonder that what's happening in Africa is happening? I mean, I've told you about a scenario where I was listening to this interview going on with this minister, and he said, stay where you are. We don't want you here. Why? Because he knows that if people who are intelligent enough come back home, things may change for the better. But they don't want that. Because they know that then they'll be challenged. Then they'll be questioned. And they don't want that to happen. But the bigger message from today's talk is we need to allow ourselves to think. We need to question more. We need to start chasing knowledge more. Because once we have knowledge, we too will be able to gain whatever we're looking for in life. I mean, it may not be, oh yeah, you're going to go chase somebody who hasn't got and take away from them. The Bible says so. If your state of mind allows you to do that, go ahead. Because, like I said, even in business, it's been done. You go and buy cheap, you sell high. That's called profit. It's the same thing with everything else. So once you have that knowledge of going to get from somewhere, you're going to go give to somebody who hasn't got that knowledge. And you make a difference. That's what's going on here. So the rest of the world come to Africa. They know we have no knowledge of exploration. They know we have no knowledge of turning gold into ornaments that we wear. They know we have no knowledge of turning petroleum or oil into petroleum that fills up our cars. So they take it away from us. They know we have all these fruit trees that are supposed to be medicinal, but we don't know how to use it. They take it away. So that's what lack of knowledge brings. We have the same land. God gave land to everybody. They will build mansions on it. They will build skyscrapers on it. Dubai. We live in our land, and what are we building? Shanties. We don't even have decent homes. And then when you get there, mosquito is still dealing with us. We lack electricity. We lack water. These people know all of that. And if you tell them, like China is doing, could you please come and build roads for me? Then they tell you, I'm going to take over all your land if I build roads for you. Do you see what is going on? Lack of knowledge is the problem. And the same applies to blacks everywhere in the world. Look at America, what's going on. Black Lives Matter. Because we haven't been cohesive enough, black people living everywhere else, to put our knowledge into action. This is what's causing our problem. So wherever you are, the message from today, lack of knowledge is the problem. So you need to look into yourself and ask yourself, are you seeking enough knowledge to help you go through life? Are you seeking enough knowledge to make you a winner? I'm going to stop it here today. Now, I've had so many people reaching out to me asking individual personal questions. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Email me, joyphido@googlemail.com. Phido is Phido. We'll try and put all of that in the description below. Reach out to me and I'll chat with you happily. I'll share the knowledge I have that I've searched for in all these books. This is nothing in my collection because I'm not going to stop seeking knowledge now that I know the truth. And that's why I've always said, ask questions. Why? Even the Bible said, the truth shall set you free. When you finally get the answer to what you're seeking questions for, you'll be at peace with yourself. And so when this whole thing started and I started querying, and it's taking me to this journey, it's like a rabbit hole. The minute you start searching for knowledge, you don't get to the end of it. Because you just keep getting more and more and more. But what does it do to you? It makes you wiser. It makes you stronger. It makes you smarter. Now, things that would have bothered you in the past become insignificant. And that's where you get to when you have knowledge. So I'm praying that all of us will go out there and start seeking knowledge in its fullest form. May God continue to bless you as you go about winning in life.